This is Sillo, a young man on a mission to satisfy his roaring hunger. He bursts into Galito's Kingsway, ready for a flame-grilled feast. But wait, what's this? Sillo's hunger gets the better of him, and he starts eating salt? Hang in there, Sillo. Your food is on the way. And here it comes, the flame-grilled goodness he's been dreaming of. Juicy, tender chicken, paired with the perfect sides. It's everything he could ask for. Now, that's a meal worth waiting for. Sillo walks out with a full belly, a happy face, and no more cravings for salt. Don't let your hunger get out of hand. Head to Galito's Kingsway today and fire up your taste buds. Galito's flame-grilled chicken.
Don't worry. That's why we have the audacity to do this.
And nobody's making 6K on radio unless they're on government stuff. Nobody. Bro, no.
I like Mekonko. He even sent me a list of people he had to pay that he knew of.
Yes.
That he had to pay. And I was like, I don't see these names here. He's like, no, we didn't say to them we're going to pay them.
Yes.
We said, well, from the petty cash, we'll give them something.
I was trying to say, though, I just got stabbed. If you were step digging, this person is asking for first aid help right now.
Guys, I was just talking to the guys, the Media Lab guys, and I was telling them that one of their tripods. Yes. I saw it costs like 1.8, just the tripod. And you use like 4 or 3 cameras to shoot a podcast, meaning
and the
camera is probably 4 times expensive than
this
the
alone
tripod.
Is like 5K.
These are
4 times.
expensive mics.
It's like 5K,
40 times.
5K, 12,000.
You know?
Pull up, say jump. Welcome to the Jump Podcast. I'm your host, 10/10. And we're shooting live from Galito's Kingsway. Man, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Shout out to you for sharing. And keep on looking out for the Jump. Remember, you can get your hot sauces here at Galito's for only $35. Yeah, man, do the most. Even food, that's already just a proper chicken, and always little bit. Don't worry. That's why we have the audacity to do this. I'm joined by my co-host, Konishi Wasa.
Yes, sir. What do you do, my G?
And today we have Theko. He's going to be our guest, friend of the show. Chris Theko is a media personality, radio presenter. What am I leaving out? Journalist. What
everything.
Gym enthusiast.
Church enthusiast. Basari enthusiast.
Hey.
Wow. We're in there as well.
Yeah. No. He's the leader of the men's conference.
No, for sure.
Yeah.
I'm
Telling
sure you
everybody to
hosted
stay
one.
single. Mara why is Ratamo Jolo, dog?
Experience.
Journalism.
Is that girl from Mutawutine?
That girl from he has the download on that one.
Big shout out to my homegirls for putting some respect on some Jolo energy.
Yeah, Chris Theko or Skela Jola
No, banana in general.
I have some good ones from Butawute that I love and respect. You know. And I mean, even my ex too still got some mad respect for her. For one reason, she never cheated. Or at least I know of. Otherwise,
plus those things.
fast lane.
Yes, nothing else.
It's never that deep.
Remember how about we have Facebook woman and
Bro, and I'm like, do you know how people earn?
Bruh.
Masirumu.
Yes.
Bruh, it's making money is hard.
Dog.
People are hustling. At least you know something, yana. And
also, 4,000 is in Yaha. When I 4,000, how again?
Bruh.
Quick question, just to put it out. Hey, no. That's a fair question.
You're bringing things to the table.
I'm inviting him to the next men's conference.
No, but legit though. If it's like it's only maintenance, ne? There's an element okay, let's say we stay together with your baby mama. You stay together for the sake of the baby. You are not in a relationship, right? But you're equally present for bathing the baby, clothing the baby, and all of those things. The expectation is that as the man, there's a fiduciary or financial expectation for you to sponsor the babe. You understand? We look up to you for the financial muscle, despite the fact that you're equally
Present.
present. You know what I mean? So, kimona momotarang. Olaga go feel 1,500 for bana. Is it or it's not enough? So my question is, when I 1.5 yeah, how ikai? We are both raising this baby. If you are both present, what's your in the instance where I'm not a deadbeat, I'm not away, I'm present, why aren't you paying the same amount of money? And that's really gigantic.
Well, the argument is always the mother carries the baby 9 months.
Yes.
The mother has to stay almost 24/7 for at least 3 months after birth with this child.
Yeah.
Breastfeeding, changing nappies, sleepless nights, all those things. You know, the mother takes up almost 70% of taking care of the child, even when they are already a toddler or anything. You know?
But my chat is, in the instance where I'm there and I'm present and I'm doing the thing that you are, we see also you know what I mean?
Fair enough.
How about that? If you don't want to wake up in the morning, I'll wake up, bathe the baby, do the same thing that you're doing. And yes, for sure, I can't carry a baby for 9 months.
Yeah.
That's facts. I can't carry a baby for 9 months. There's a natural barrier for me. I would carry the baby with you. Now I can't. So am I paying for the fact that you're doing something that I am biologically incapable of?
When we are taking it there, they will bring up the conversation that it's all about the man being called to provide.
Then it's a different thing.
You see?
Then it's a different
I
type.
feel like in that topic, it's way too broad and
Yeah,
has
for sure.
so many opinions
Yeah.
that we might not even hit the right opinion. Or whatever.
My thing is, I was just trying to make Lungile aware that for every argument we put forward,
There's
most
a
of the
rebuttal.
time women always have an answer for it.
Yeah.
You know,
I
they
know,
always
they
have an
stay
answer
ready.
for.
I
I take care of the baby emotionally. I nurture the baby.
License into Leona 4,000 in for each
sure.
like him, like you have to provide, you have to pay my rent. What?
Big shout out.
Say what? Yeah. But we get why you left the Majolo scene and became an advocate of singleness.
All right, first things first, guys. Thank you so much for having me. I'm a big fan of the show.
Yes, sir.
And I love what you guys are doing there. Here for the culture, actually.
Yes, sir.
You know, it's bringing that vibrance that we needed. So why I left Mujolo? Why I'm now an advocate? Did I leave Mujolo? No, not really. I'm checking out the scene and seeing if it's safe to come back.
Do your scouting, man.
You're
Do
in the DMs there by Twitter there, saying hello.
My DMs are dry, by the way.
Your
Very dry,
DMs?
and most people don't want to believe it, but they are dry. Everything.
People don't leak things to you like, oh, I got something juicy to
Oh, that's business. I'm always getting
all right.
business.
But man, before we get into business, how are you, man? How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm great. I'm awesome. Well, I can be better. But I'm awesome.
I'm gonna ask you this, Nia. Me and you have had conversations. Me and you have been on national radio and community radio and regional radio for like the longest time now. So you did print media. You used to work in print. You used to do sports in print. So my chat is, remember the conversation we were having about how there's an underlying development. There's a thing that happens, the radio stationing, or the media outlet, of people getting underpaid.
Yeah, for sure.
I'd want you to share maybe your experience of it. Or now, when did you realize in your own career, there's no way I'm worth this much? Like, when did it hit you? What particular thing was happening, or what other things were like signifiers in your own personal experience to say, damn, actually, this is not the one? And we're not talking about a particular establishment. We're just saying in general.
In general.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, even today, that part hasn't changed.
Yeah.
From what I know, it's still, there's still a lot of establishments in our media space that pay very little to some that pay none.
Yeah.
some of them, they will tell you straight up, you have to have a business and advertise it and then, or get yourself sponsors or anything like that. So, and unfortunately, we are landlocked by one of the biggest countries in terms of radio
media
in South Africa. I mean, in Africa alone, you know. And a lot of time we compare Lesotho with South Africa. You know, not realizing how big. Like, for instance, one of the biggest radio stations in South Africa that is doing well in terms of listenership, they have tripled the listenership that Lesotho's population has. 6 million and above. We are just 2-point-something million. So we can't compare Lesotho and South Africa in terms of that space. But my thing is, even if that's the case, some of our media houses make a lot of money. I know because I've been there. They still pay their people.
The commercial radio stations, the biggest commercial radio stations are paying us peanuts. And at the same time, you use my brand, my face, my voice to promote the clients that pay you a lot of money.
For sure.
People won't believe me when you could tell them, an NGO could pay like close to 300K for an ad that's gonna air for 6 months. And they patalo upfront, they patalo airtime, maybe patalo. Beyond the fact that I'm just giving you this production. Take this production, produce this thing for me, or take a clip and play it on the air for. And like, there's millions raked in a year. But trust me, even earnings as staff at the radio station cannot amount to 200K. That's silly. Lele 50 di leta di show te de hlano kapo de 60 ka letsatsi. You're not even getting close to 250,000, even though there's a million plus being made a year. And that's just facts.
And I think that also proves a point. These comments that we see online about radio Matwana babuang sohoa on these other like the conversations they are not really that exciting. It shows because of the money that's why we can't have but creative in that point.
It's a factor for sure. Yes.
You just produce some lame thing. Like it's just, you know.
I always say a lot of people who were creative, who were very good and passionate about radio, they are no longer on radio spaces.
There's only a few. There's only a few left.
And that was also forced by the fact that our body that is in charge of communications in the country, they decided to say, majority of radio stations, you should have people with qualifications. Now let's have a conversation about radio and qualifications.
You
know, some of the biggest radio hosts we know
are not qualified.
Make reference to South Africa. They are not qualified as broadcasters. Like, if you look at their qualifications, they are not. You know, but they make such brilliant radio.
They're entertainers. They're great broadcasters.
Someone can go to school and learn broadcasting, but not really be all about broadcasting, you know, and not really do what you guys are here doing now, you know. And someone may not necessarily have the means to go to school.
But the passion
beyond grade 12 or whatever it's called nowadays. But they have the passion and the zeal and the drive and the hard work, you know. But you deny them the opportunity to be on radio. That's another conversation that has to be had because it has distorted the quality that we have on our radio right now. But back to the kaching, you know, I think in a sense, we have a lot of young people who are unemployed. Now the thing is, our employers know that there's a lot of graduates who are desperate. So if you are Konnichiwa, what's up? You are good, but now you know your value and you're like, I need to be paid at least 6K.
At
least 6K.
And nobody's making 6K on radio unless they're on government stuff. Nobody, bro, no.
I'm not sure. I think I know one or two, you know,
who are making that
who are
kind
there.
Of money.
But you know, if you stand up for yourself and say, you know, at least 6K, guys. They say, we can't make it. If you want to leave, the door's open. They even say it boldly. If you want to leave, the door's open.
You're not even qualified. That's when your listenership goes up. They care. But then the moment you value your weight in the same space, they're like,
I know. I think in some aspect it applies in every department.
sure.
In terms of entertainment.
Yeah.
Little DJ. Once you start knowing your value,
Yeah.
you start getting less bookings because
Yeah.
you know, it's something even DJs formed an association or whatever, or a union.
Yeah.
It's
At a standard pace,
we don't want in an hour 45 clip. But at the end of the day, there's somebody at the back will be like, I don't mind.
Yeah.
I can still do that job.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So it's all about caring about things. I don't think people actually do care about the quality of what they're producing.
Yeah.
It's
It's really hard to
Substandard.
it's really hard to dedicate yourself to anything that does not give back to you.
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
It's really, really, really hard for you to expect me to come give a show prep. Whatever. You have to prep skeleton. That's show.
Yep.
And research. It takes data. It takes time. It takes a lot of. Like, I don't think people understand how much goes into preparing for a show.
Yeah.
Like a proper prep. You know what I mean? So it's hard for me to wake up in the morning and come to a show where, first of all, the environment is really toxic. There's too much red light and red tape when you want to do anything that wants to improve your show. So I think even though most people, you know what I mean? As people think, hi, radio 1977, how to radio? And I'm like, bro, it's not the same.
Yeah.
My context and my content and the things that I talk about, even just the way I deliver anything at all, it's not gonna be the same. So nobody can take it from above. There's less pay, you can't be motivated enough. The passion itself dries out because you understand that the value. Sometimes it feels like you're talking to nobody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sometimes it feels like how getting on air, you're not really adding any value to because you know for plus oneing and nobody really cares that much. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Radio, like so many people discuss so many serious things on radio, right? There's political stuff that people talk about, and there's sports, there's cultural things, there's spiritual things, there's philosophies and stuff, and things that have an actual impact on people, right? But to show you how much the medium itself is not valued, nobody cares as much. We'll talk about it. Oh, how to radio monanang, somebody has been molesting a child for this much. And the conversation just ends there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Nobody's trying to change the world or the country or have your ear about ifellamo. No? That's why I've been preparing a show.
I think the biggest thing that was done as if they are looking out for radios or they're trying to fix the radio space.
Yeah, structure,
was that thing I already talked about where they say qualified people who should be employed on radio. Like, that's
media
not
training.
fixing.
Yeah.
That's destroying it because radio is all about raw talent and it being polished right, not necessarily going to school and learning. There's a lot of people who went to school to learn it, but they don't care about it. They don't even know much about it. They are not interested. Like you're talking about research right now. You know, you're talking about prep, script. One radio station where I worked at, you will never go on air without
a script.
Sending the script to the programs manager. You know, to show what you're going to talk about in what order. You know. And so all that has to go along with research and you invest time.
Yes.
When I call on 1010 to come be a guest on my radio show, I need the airtime. We need to talk about it.
I need to cater for him to get to the show. They don't care.
That's all the prep that goes into it. Those things matter, but you're right. They don't care about them. So another thing that you slightly highlighted on is radio, Makaya Mona, is... I'm sorry to say this, but majority of them are in the hands of the wrong people. Like the management side, not the owners per se. The managers,
They don't care.
They say exactly what you just said.
Yeah.
I've been on radio for so and so years,
Yeah.
so I know. Like, it's not about that. It's doing the right thing for
Yeah.
the listener.
Yeah.
Not about what you know, what you
Yeah.
don't know, but do the right thing for the listener.
Yeah.
You know. So we still have a long way to go, man. And we have South Africa to learn from, but we are not learning instead.
Well, speaking of radio, ditaba ha di sa fete ka radio now. They se di feta ka Facebook. Like now you hear things via Facebook
Before you hear them on the news.
Yeah. Oh, now the car crash, you see it on Facebook
Yeah.
first.
Yeah.
There's images.
There's somebody hailing toilet. Take out the man You find them on Facebook. Has Facebook become like
Social media.
It's like social media, has it become like our true source of information now? From your standpoint?
It's a tough one. For instance, personally,
Yeah.
I think I'm one of the people who started really using social media to, break news or announce news, because so many times I realized the rest of the world was doing it.
Yeah.
We're still left behind. Why are we not using it? Especially back then, it used to be called Twitter. Twitter was very big on
Yes.
things breaking.
Even the slogan, we get the news first. Everybody on X get it. That's how they're pushing the agenda right now.
Yeah, Facebook would
It's
always
also
come.
number one news and something on the
Yes.
apps. On the apps.
Yes. Because if anything, if you want to fact check anything, you go on to
Twitter.
On Twitter.
Yeah.
So the fact checking community thing is the best one because the peer-to-peer information sharing. It's sure there's a filter system in real time.
Yeah.
You can't post fake news. They stay as fake news.
Can I even that thing about what on community
Communities,
note?
yes.
No, this is not true.
Yes.
This is
and you're a contributor. It's a yibat.
Yeah.
It's a yibat.
Yeah.
Ta-da.
So I think in a way social media has really taken over what radio was doing. Where you knew that to get credible news, you'd have to go to radio because majority of the time, still like today, print media always comes later.
Yes.
Can't wait for a newspaper to or
Yes,
Saturday or
yes.
the Sunday one
Yes.
with something that happened on Monday or Tuesday.
Yeah.
It's about now.
We want to know it now.
It's
So
about
radio
agency.
used to cover that space.
Yeah.
Now social media is here
Yeah.
and we cannot deny it.
Yeah.
We're in the fourth industrial revolution. Social media is big. The internet is big.
Yeah.
So yes, in a way,
It's taken a part of it.
Yeah.
It's playing a part.
for
I'm
sure.
going to say it's also generational.
Yeah.
Because if let's say 50% of or 40% of Lesotho's population is the youth, then that says 40%, the bulk of it is on the internet, right?
Yeah,
Social
yeah,
media and
yeah.
everything else.
Yeah.
But we don't use social media the same way. So people use Facebook for anything else, business, but not necessarily to get credibility in
Yeah.
So it's generational. It means there's a generation that still relies on radio as the biggest medium for fact checking anything, for information, for news break, for opinion and curation, anything at all. That's how you even know that's how we can determine the success of musicians, artists, and whatever when they're played on radio, because it's still a very big part.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
So all radio has done is come into the space and share a part of the pie. And also all it has developed the agency in which information is told to the public.
Yeah.
Or whatnot. That's all it does. So it didn't replace it. It's just that now I'd rather watch things on BBC because I know it's real time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And other than listen to the BBC on radio.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Because now, even just the devices that we use, technology itself, there's less radios, actual radio, A to R.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
The phone at the airports are ready.
You know what I mean?
And you're right to some extent, but also I need to add on that. I also do communications consultancy for a non-profit organization.
Yeah.
Now, most of the time we get international guests, especially university students from the UK, from Europe, and the USA. Now, what I've learned, the trend, majority of them, when I tell them about Facebook, they're like, people still use Facebook
Yeah.
here, and I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Even in
And-
SA, Facebook is dead.
Yeah, and I'm like,
That's
oh,
crazy.
so Facebook is only
The-
big with us here.
Yeah, because we're still. It's like how WhatsApp is big everywhere else in the world, right? Except in the States.
Yeah.
But the States
China.
are the biggest
And
drivers.
Asia.
Yes.
And Asia.
Yes, but the drivers are drivers of IT and app development and whatever is the States. That tells you something, hoy. Man, I think they're way past what we're doing. You know what I mean? They're on iMessage more than anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The man was saying this is WeChat.
Yes.
Yeah.
In Asia, they're using
WeChat.
you know. So obviously, every state in LA, a culture around how it uses social media. So Africans are still very big on Facebook, right? They're still very big on Facebook, and that's how we're keeping Mark Zuckerberg in the top 5 richest people right now because we.
But for him, it's not just Facebook. It's Meta.
Yes.
Meta includes
Yes,
Instagram.
but the
you're on
biggest
WhatsApp,
biggest app is Facebook.
Facebook.
Yeah.
Yes. The biggest app globally is
Yeah.
Facebook.
So introduced threads.
Yeah, threads. And there's people who are gravitating towards it. But in terms of like usership and
don't
whatever.
have an account, eh?
Yes.
Of what?
Of threads. I don't.
Oh, I do,
I
but
do.
I hardly use it.
I do,
but I'm
but
still
For me,
gravitating to.
I get about in Turkey, bona ile bu Twitter, so
It's more or less the
love
same.
It
Yeah.
literally, it's Twitter integrated with Instagram.
Yeah, I love Twitter.
Yes.
I would
So-
never leave
So,
Twitter.
so another thing I want to say about the use of social media, especially for breaking news,
Yeah.
is people also look at the caliber of the person or the media house.
Yes.
Because there are those platforms, especially on Facebook,
Yes.
that will give news. And then I remember one incident where, was it the death of Malume Vector? I don't remember.
Yes.
Yeah.
And some media house on Facebook,
Let's
the
put it out.
media page, just
Yes.
put it
A
out.
tabloid.
Yeah, we can call it a
it's
tabloid.
literally a tabloid.
They broke it because I think I was probably one of the first people to get the news.
Yeah.
But I was probably the latest person to post about it.
Yes. Yeah.
Because I was still verifying, I was still fact checking, I was still making sure that the family knows.
Yes.
Right. So when it comes to such things, you need to get probably
Media training.
the statements right,
Yes.
you know,
Yes.
and from the correct people,
Yes.
and give people, the family probably a
Yes.
chance to know and
Yes.
confirm.
Yes.
Because you can get it wrong. Imagine if that was not Malume Vector.
Yes.
And you already said he's dead.
And it was somebody else.
It was somebody else, you know, because they got it wrong. Because
Yes.
in that car there was 4 people,
Yeah,
right?
and they said the number of the deceased babule a wrong number of people,
Exactly.
giving
They
the
said
impression
3.
that all 3 of them died, and then there's like one survivor. Or
Yeah, so you can get such things wrong, and this one I'm just using it because it's a bit sensitive.
Yeah.
But majority of the time, those tabloids, Facebook, they get things wrong.
Yeah.
You know, hence we need what you just said, media training.
Yeah.
Even if
Yeah.
I'm not a journalist myself, most
Yes.
people don't know this. I did not go to school to study journalism. I studied marketing. Something
Hello,
wow.
motho a ratang ditaba.
It just,
Hey, what are you
it
talking
just sort of, you know,
Yeah.
fell on my lap, and I was
Yeah.
like, oh, this is quite nice.
Yeah.
And I realized I have the passion and love for it. So,
Yeah.
like I was saying earlier, sometimes these things, they need the right people, not necessarily the qualification
Yeah.
per se. I'm not saying education is not important,
Yes.
but I also managed to go through media and ethics training.
Yeah.
You know, principles of journalism and
Yes.
all those. The short
Yes.
costs are very important,
Yeah.
especially when you are not having the formal training for
Yeah.
it.
Also, also because like Misa has the workshop where they
For
train
sure,
people
for sure.
because they understand not everybody in the media space is a trained professional.
That's
It's
correct.
gala, it's a medical, it's a ethics, it's a thing, you know. So people don't. Everybody just wakes up, bro, and they want to be a news outlet tomorrow.
Especially now with the access of social media. like
Yeah.
you were saying.
You just want
You
to be
know,
the first to say it.
The moment you have an iPhone or a Samsung, you
Yes.
know, and Wi-Fi at home,
Data.
you are a journalist.
Yes.
Yeah.
You break news.
Yes.
So, well,
But
you
like
can't.
I said,
Yeah.
it's very important to know the person
Yeah.
who's breaking the news. I
Yeah.
know I'm not good with covering legal affairs,
Yeah.
like Sekilebo Makhutleng,
Yes.
there's a case Yamamang,
Yes.
you know. I'm not good with those.
Yeah.
I know my people that I follow.
Yeah.
I know
K Village.
KK.
Yes, KK,
Bulwetsi, you know,
Yes.
all those. I know they are the right people to follow.
Yes.
When it comes to other news, like your international relations and
Politics.
and whatnot, I know
Yeah.
there's the likes of Poloko Mokhele and
Yes.
you know, I know my
Vitelo.
people. You know,
Yes.
exactly.
Yes.
So you need to know who you are following.
Yeah.
If you need anything, entertainment, arts, sports, you know, Chris Theko is the go-to person.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here and there, I'll still say about general news,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I'm not. It's not really my forte. So
Yeah,
you
yeah.
need to know your people. That's all I'll say.
Yeah. Well, Hanya, no, warabile. The thing I was gonna ask you, how do you verify like from, let's say somebody DMs you and tells you something so big, and then you want to post it, or juicy. How
Yeah.
do you actually verify, you know, 1, 2, and 3 it's a hit?
Well, I'm very fortunate that in the decade that I've been in the media
Yeah.
and journalism space,
Yeah.
both on print media and radio, I've had to build contacts. I've
Yeah.
had, you know, relations with a lot of people in various spaces, Sonata arts and entertainment and sports. Because sports is where I really started.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I shifted to arts
Everything,
and
yes.
entertainment.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, I've had a lot of contacts. So when someone gives me something, chances are I already have the right person I can
Yes.
contact
Yeah, yes.
and ask.
Yes.
Do you know about it?
You have sources.
Yeah, I have
Yes.
sources, yes.
And the source will tell you what is right or what is wrong.
Thank you.
So that's basically how do we do as journalists. I was telling people this some other time. I remember when I did. You remember that thing that happened on Twitter a few years back when I tweeted about the Twitter picnic.
Yes.
And I talked about it on radio.
Yes.
Right? So what had happened was the literature picnic is gonna happen. It's an event organized by event organizers here who are on Twitter. They want it to be exclusive, apparently, to just Twitter users who
Yeah.
are active users and whatever. They also want it to be caged on the platform, right?
Yeah.
So I do a show on radio every day on my campus radio on Expand Dupe FM where I do what's trending on LS Twitter. Because that time I was building the culture
Yeah.
of LS Twitter. Like you have to understand that on the LS Twitter or on the location, the trending or hot topics are, right? So at a specific time, at 11 or so, I'll say, this is what's trending on Twitter, this is what happens, this, and break down the hashtag, you know what I mean? LS Twitter picnic trends for like a while. The day I go on radio, I talk about it. Okay, so there's this event organized by this people that's happening on Twitter and whatever. And I even made a post about it before I went on air. Well, I'm gonna be talking about it, right? Did these niggas not go crazy about, oh my God, bro, you shouldn't even talk about it. Who are you to talk about my stuff? You didn't even ask us, you didn't even consult. I'm like, bro, what are you talking about, dog? I'm a MISA registered journalist. You understand?
Yeah.
Or I'm a MISA affiliated journalist at this point. I have the liberty to talk about whatever I want to talk about. Also, you are not an exception. I don't do this to you because you're cool, my nigga. I'm doing this because this is literally on a public platform that I can talk about and say, yo, this is happening right now. You cannot tell me what to say. You went live and said this. I am going to talk about it on my platform. So people don't understand that there's specific liberties that we have to talk about things. You know what I mean? It's just that there's training where you're like, you know, already you're not supposed to take political sides. You're not supposed to instigate. You're not supposed to all these things.
Misinformation.
You know what I mean? So there is a way and order in which we confirm things. On a little source. I didn't care to talk to them about it because all the information I needed to talk about was the information that's on Twitter.
Right here.
You know what I mean?
They put it out there.
Yeah. So it's just knowing who is the right person to talk about it. If there's an affiliate, a company, that's a corporate. Again, let's talk about Galitos, right? Biggest sponsor, great food.
Shout out to
Come check it.
Galitos,
Yes,
man.
come check out the food in the spot. So Galitos puts out a statement, or somebody puts out a statement about Galitos. The first thing I'm gonna do as a person who knows the owner of the brand or the franchise is, yo, is this something happening like this. That's how you verify your sources. That's how you verify your news. And also, the degree at which you do it, because I still feel like even the tablets try to confirm the stuff. You know what I mean? But they're not serious about it.
Yeah, they're not.
It's really about the clicks. It's really about the engagement they get. About being the first person to talk about something. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's really about the degree at which you try and confirm the story and verify it.
Ooh, bro, that thing is so dangerous. That thing of wanting to be the
first one.
person.
Yeah.
It's so dangerous.
Yeah.
This morning I made a post on Facebook saying it takes so many years to build a brand, but it can take one mistake to completely destroy that brand.
Yeah.
After so many years of working to build it, you can destroy it with just one post or one mistake, and that's it. So it's so dangerous.
So speaking about a post that can destroy your brand and whatever, there's a tweet that you once made about the late DJ Kopper.
Yes.
Yeah. When you said you talked allegedly about DJs claiming that
they were not
paid and whatever, and then Kopper came back and responded to you. How did you manage to get out of that situation where no, we have the receipts we have this and that, and then when you were fed information nobody was paid, but you didn't know the initial agreement. How did you manage to
What had happened in that situation was some, and not all, some, just that some of them did not, and I'm that kind of a journalist.
Yeah.
If you in confidence say to me, Chris, this is the deal, but I'd really appreciate if
you don't share this because
mention my name because it's gonna affect
ruin
my bread
and
with other entities or other individuals.
Yes.
But I'm really this is
pressed about this particular thing.
You
yes,
know,
you can hide your source. You have that liberty.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
You know, so
protect
that's
the source
what
all
happened.
the time.
But some of these people, I learned as I was now doing my investigations that they actually were the ones who approached the organizers of Spring Jump Off and said would like for an opportunity to showcase our talent on the biggest stage. It's one of the biggest stages in the country. And then the organizers, as show of goodwill, they said to them, all right, we'll cover your transport.
Yeah.
Now, when they tell me this, they say, I haven't been paid. To me, it's like, oh, okay, you were not paid. Right.
Yes. And in reality, they were not paid.
I haven't been paid, and it's been over 3 weeks or 3 months. I'm like, oh. And then I ask.
Yes.
I contacted Kopper first.
Yes.
He was not responding.
Yes.
Then I contacted Mekonko.
Yeah.
And then Mekonko responded and then told me that some of these people you are mentioning are the ones who actually came to us and say to us, hey, man,
yes.
if there's a chance. And then we gave them the opportunity and said to them, once we've done looking at our profits or however much we made, then we'll, as a show of good faith, we'll give you a certain portion.
Yes.
When they come to me, they say they were not paid.
Yeah.
To them, it's like they were expecting payment.
Yeah, and it's a different arrangement. It's
and that's what happened basically there. Yeah. So, but I had screenshots of conversations with those people. And the other ones, I'm just trying not to name drop because some of them were still trying to build their name in the industry. Some of them are already established. Yeah. There's only one person who said to me, Nala how can mention actually which is Tizozo. Shout out to Tizozo, by the way. Tizozo even went on social media on Facebook and said, this is what happened between me and the bros. So I don't know. Sometimes even us as creatives, particularly people in the music business, we like to push our own agendas using media people. And that's not right. I realized that those people were trying to use me and my credibility to fight their battle, where they had been promised something as show of good faith, not necessarily payment. So that,
and nothing was lost in translation. Most people pretend like you know what you're expecting. So because you talked about it, and sometimes it's not even the truth, bro. Like,
I'm sorry to say this, but sometimes they were even going to give you 200 just for transport. Because that's basically what Mekonko said to me, that we promised these people to cover their transport.
Yes.
So
what are they
it's
talking
not
about?
necessarily payment. There's a he even, I like Mekonko, he even sent me a list of people he had to pay that he knew of, that he had to pay. And I was like, I don't see these names here. It's like, no, we didn't say to them we're going to pay them.
Yes.
We said, well, from the petty cash, we'll give them something.
Yes.
You know, not necessarily a payment. So they come to me, they use it as the term payment for what they did. I'm like, guys. And I even told some of them, I went back to them and said, what you did was wrong. You know, especially because one of them was someone I was working tirelessly to help rebuild their status and their brand because of what had happened prior. So some of these things are, it's hectic, man. But we move. We move.
Ah, man. I just now, well, you know, like I try my best on my social media to keep everything not about me. Like,
by the way, I know why you left the industry in terms of being active.
I know you can say it.
You know, so
it's not a profitable industry at the end of the day. Man, you lose so much.
It takes more than it gives.
Yes.
You
lose.
Same
lose
reason
so
I left
much.
radio.
Like you lose because
I can't really say that.
For me.
For me, I can. He was saying
No.
Radio.
Same reason
Radio.
I left radio is legit. Not for me, it was just the red tape.
You know, the recent radio I was working at when I left, I was probably one of the highest paid people.
Yeah.
And when I tell people the reason I left, they say, you didn't leave because of the money, you left because of that. I'm like, that takes a lot more than money. So sometimes, yes, the money can be good, but your mental health and other things that happen behind the scenes can just really come at you, and you can't even enjoy it because there's just so much that comes with it.
Nah, I'm just so done, man. I don't wanna lie, guys. I did radio for like 7 years. I'm good, dog. Like, if ever I'm getting back into radio, I'm getting back into radio in an established structure. You know what I mean? Game infrastructure in South Africa, household. That's the most minimal element. That's when I'm saying, okay, fine, let's try radio again. That'll be the only time I get back into like radio. Beyond that, all these places, all of them, I don't want the government check. I don't even want if it's private. I don't care how much you pay. Okay, maybe if you talk about the money, maybe, perhaps. But like, I'm so done with the red tape.
Your genuine opinion, you still listening to radio right now?
Yeah, I still listen to radio.
I won't even ask you which one or which show, but your general opinion, how do you feel about our state of radio right now?
Okay, I'm gonna talk about this. I've talked about it before, I think, but like, I think it was on a podcast. There's only one person right now that I mess with in terms of like radio, who has the drive and the passion that I once, the glimmer you have when you have been passionate about radio all your life. So it's like the OGs for sure. Relo Mokhabudi is definitely an OG, top 1, top 5 radio presenters in the country, right? And then there's Miss E, Radio Edith. Edith is amazing.
A lot of people are sleeping on
Edith
her.
is amazing. So you see, in the space, right?
Yeah.
But as everybody else who exists in the market right now, I just feel like they're underwhelming. You know what I mean? I did better radio, you know what I mean? And not to use myself as a standard as much, but there's a quality of radio that you know once you've been on air.
Yeah.
And because whenever you're on air, there's at least a person you're aspiring to be better than, or to at least be on the same level with.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Who have that energy, that quality in terms of what they do on air, the liveliness, the energy they bring. So I think it's in a decline, and a very sad decline.
Very sad. Do you
I
listen
really feel. I feel like the only way you get like proper listenership, even the guys who are quality on radio, right? The quality they give feels fraudulent. You know what I mean? Because we emulate so much as creatives. So there's a saying in the art space here, every artist themselves, like art is an imitation, okay? You can't really, there's no such thing as an original thought like that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Even if I think of a new design as a designer, I know there is an influence to how I see it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So for presenters and radio presenters, I always feel like I can see who you're trying to be. You know what I mean? And I'll make an example like DJ Fresh. DJ Fresh is an OG, has a beautiful natural voice, and he has a neck for radio. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The way he talks to you, the way he talks about it. The podcast he does, not so much. I hate the podcast. You know what I mean? Because I feel like what he does, he took the formula that worked on radio and he tried to replicate it a long format on podcasting. And to be honest, that the quality of the stuff he does, like his radio voice doesn't sound the same because podcasting needs you to be as natural as possible.
For sure.
So man, in your voice that is natural, but on radio feels trained, still feels like it's now robotic. It feels automated. You know what I mean? So what's up, guys? Today I have a guy who just lost his mom. DJ Fresh, big dog, woo woo. You know what I mean? That energy on radio is a perfect formula. But in a different format, it's wrong. But how about Motina is trying to be like Batukada. I'm not even trying to lie. They're trying to sound like Batukada. The media personalities I want to see so you can be natural. And you're on an urban radio, has a stamo who bua se khoa. Has it Twela Singisi Sitlohele. If it's not a language, and then it's okay.
Take for example, the reference I made earlier, where one of the most listened to radios, not just in South Africa, but in Africa. You know they are the number one in Africa in terms of listenership. Ukozi FM.
Yes.
Which language do they use?
They speak Zulu.
Zulu.
Yes.
I mean, 6 million people are listening to them with their Zulu. So you don't have to think Sekgowa all the time. You can go the whole 3 hours.
You can be very cool and do a suit.
Exactly.
Relax. You're not that person.
Something like, you know, like
pretend you're talking to Mutu.
Listen, FM just recently won the radio station of the year.
Yes. They've been winning that award, yes.
They speak so in South Africa where there's a lot of people who speak other languages.
And you know why? Because there's authentically Sotho.
Exactly.
And
Yes. They even try to emulate the Sotho because no, this is a different media.
Yeah, for
sure. As a radio station, it was a Sotho primarily, ne?
Yeah.
It was a high money wants to suit, but long push agenda. Ya was to suit. Which is a very good initiative, by the way. To have more people speaking and understanding the suit. But the way they do it is so stupid. It's so wrong.
And rude.
It's so rude.
I was about to say arrogant.
And arrogant and impractical. You go ahead. You cannot. How don't you have during an emergency? When you have an emergency line on your radio station, I was trying to say that I just got stabbed. If you were stabbed digging, this person is asking for first aid help right now. Even the way they do it, you know what I mean? The culture, just the mental. You're dragging the medium behind. And you're one of the biggest radio stations in the country.
Yeah. If not the biggest.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And organically.
Yeah.
Because generationally, Emmanuel radio exists.
Yeah.
And even despite not wanting to listen to the medium more no exist in everyday public transport. It will play beyond what you want to curate for yourself.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, like, there's a lack of authenticity, there's an emulation, there's a lack of passion, there's also no originality.
Yeah.
Yes. And then also the fact beyond the personalities themselves, the infrastructure itself cannot support you to be a great presenter.
Yeah.
So, okay, cutting the topic here, we are ready. Speaking of microphones, you still haven't left the mic, you're still doing MCing, and I saw Maobane on Twitter, was it the awards?
Lesotho Annual Sports Awards.
Yeah.
Yes.
How
that was nice. That was very nice.
Yeah.
Very professional. I was co-hosting with April Mahase. Shout out to Miss A.
She's also good. Yeah.
We also, by the way, last year were hosting Lesotho Music Awards together.
Yeah.
So
you guys are now like
I guess,
an MC pair.
I would say so.
It's a nice blend.
Yeah. So it was really nice. I don't want to lie. I think when we talk art and entertainment or the creative industry as a whole, really, I know right now the current government, they're trying to push that narrative or those two as being the key drivers or one of the key drivers of the economy. Because we know all over the world, some of the highest paid people are sport athletes.
In most places.
They work with athletes, you know, they are either singers and you know,
painters, anything.
you know, so I love the idea that the government is trying to go into that space and really push that. So shout out to all the winners from the Lesotho Sports Awards. Would like to see more initiatives like that taking place. So yes, to answer your question, I'm going into that now and I'm enjoying it. It's nice. It's nice.
I've been thinking about doing corporate MC.
Yeah. And on that note, I think we are lacking in that department. Honestly,
there's only a few. It's always the same people.
Especially with the females.
Yes.
Even us, the guys. There's you see same faces.
Yeah.
It's a repetition of people.
I know. It sounds weird for me to be saying this, but hey, man, gatekeeping will not get us anywhere. We need more people coming in. We need variety.
Yeah.
You know, like for instance, yesterday I had two options.
Yeah.
There was also a gala dinner that was happening at the convention center.
Yeah.
I could have also emceed that one.
Yeah.
I had, you know,
This one.
I was like, I'm more
inclined to the sports.
Yeah, sports. You know. Also, I was nominated in the last one. So, by the way,
Sports journalist.
Yeah. The last time they were held was 2019, and I was nominated. They were not hosted for the past 4 years because of COVID-19 and the financial constraints that happened and everything else that happened. So they were only just coming back in 2025. So what I was saying is that was part of the reason why I was like, oh, it would be nice to host them because I've been nominated. That one I can always look at next time. So, and that's why I'm saying we need more. Because imagine if those people were like, we don't have anyone else. Who else can we contact? And there was no other option. So maybe you should really give it a thought and go into that space, especially corporate MCing, gala dinners,
we're coming.
that kind of vibe.
I don't even think I'm pro the alternative space more than anything. You know, I'm more about the vibe it's and you know what I mean? So as much as I'm pioneering an entire scene with my colleagues in that space, it's still very important for me to understand, because I feel like as an individual you can weigh what options do I have, you know? I feel like there's a lot of people who have said to themselves, I am a corporate MC, but maybe they can't. You know why? Because corporate has favorites. You know what I mean? Yes, and repetitively we want to see the same people do the budget speech. You know what I mean? Or a staff branch or a year-end function. You know what I mean? So we need to populate the space that we want to see grow. And then create a structure that works. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
Podcasters, there's a lot of us right now, right? Now, I can come into the space and say, yo, me, I'm an OG, but I can. At the same time, there is nothing for me to show. You know, somebody can come into the space and do amazingly, you know, and I don't have to feel weird about it. But there has to be at least a community recognized. We are not just competition. We are fighting for attention and engagement, their audience. But we are literally a community. If one podcaster is treated badly and we let it go, then we want to be the same. If you charge low prices, then all of us are forced to charge low prices because people know now you exist. You know what I mean?
The part of the reason why I think I struggled a lot, or I still to some extent struggle to get gigs, is because apparently I'm expensive. And when I look at my rates, I'm always like,
the cheapy blame.
I have a good friend, TK. Shout out to TK in Teva. He's also a podcaster and he's a financial advisor. He looked at my rate card one time and he said, "Guy, why are you so
Cheap, yes.
And I said, am I cheap?
I let-
People say I'm expensive.
Yeah.
I'm not getting, like I'd literally get someone call me or text me and say, I'd like you to come be an MC for such and such an event,
Yeah.
Kopper quotation. I send them a quotation or my rate card and they're like, but so and so, so I'm like, there's people who charge that much.
Yeah.
I thought I was cheap.
That's why there's a need for structure.
Yeah.
Some will,
Industry
some
scene,
will
yeah.
ask for your rate card and then you send it and then you'll never hear from them ever again. You see someone else hosting, it's like that someone charged this much. You're like, these people are killing the market. Why?
Yeah. Listen at the price.
You know, yes.
Listening at the price.
So that's
And
another challenge we have.
Hey, but it's in badly.
Because even us as a podcast, we do events, we cover events and whatever. So while we're covering events, we also expect
Yes.
But there are people out there who are still doing the same thing, who'd be like, I'll do it for free.
Yes.
And it's
You're ruining the market. You're ruining. Yes.
We are one of the four. I don't want to say forefathers, but we are one of the pioneers on about podcasting in Lesotho.
Yes.
And we all have to make sure we build a structure.
Yes.
Yeah. So once everything free, this free.
It's not gonna work.
It's not gonna work because imagine the quality that we have. Shout out to Media Lab, powered by Media Lab. Yeah. So like the quality that we have currently, we want
It's
to bring that. It's expensive.
We don't just sit down here for vibes.
Guys, shooting podcast to Hase, Mantwane, Hase, it's not cheap. It's really, really expensive. And the more we don't get any funding, we don't get any, it's hard for us to the
consistency, yeah.
So if you guys out there, like, you guys are taking free shows, free this, free that, you're also draining. Baba, it has a ripple effect. For free. So guys, please, it's not bad knowing your worth. Work with your worth. If your worth is free, then what are you doing here?
Change sites.
Move to another career.
Being too much accessible kills the value.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
So if you are at every event, they know you're gonna be there whether they invited you or not. One person asked me, you always say you're at home on weekends, but sometimes I'll see you at events. I'm like, I go to an event if I'm going to benefit something out of it. Because I'm not trying to be too accessible.
Yes.
Exactly.
Once you are too accessible, we know we're going to find the Jump podcast at that event, whether they are paid or not. Guys, I was just talking to the guys, the Media Lab guys, and I was telling them that they are one of their tripods. I saw it costs like 1.8, just the tripod. And you use like 4 or 3 cameras to shoot the podcast, meaning
and there's
a
lights.
camera is probably 4 times expensive than
This
the
alone
tripod.
is like
The
5K.
mics, these are
4 times.
expensive mics.
It's like 5K, 5K,
40
5K.
times.
You know?
12,000.
You know, so that's another thing we need to address. Content creation on its own.
It's expensive.
Most people think content creation is all about just the caption on Facebook or on Twitter. It's not just about the caption.
Exactly.
Even the caption itself has a lot of thought process in it.
But
also now, what's the right way to capture this audience? The right way, you know. But there's so much that goes on behind the scenes in
that
terms
nobody
of
cares.
the equipment, how expensive it is, production cost in general. Though we don't talk about such things. We need to start addressing that. Not just for us MCs, but even the people behind the scenes, behind the lenses.
Because you can't tell
It's
me to come to a
expensive.
gala dinner. What am I wearing? Usam batala. What am I wearing?
I once had a controversial argument with a person who was booking me for. I also do emceeing weddings. You know?
Yes.
And this person was saying, no, I can give you 2,000. I'm like, 2,000? 2,000. Okay, let's be fair. Let's be fair. With 2,000,
So do you
I'm going
1.2?
to buy a suit 1.5.
Yes.
I have transport to go to that place. There's me also getting a haircut. There's me also looking good. And how we also do not just talking about 2-piece. There's the whole thing. She was like, you have a lot of suits. Why do you want to buy a suit for every outing?
For your wedding.
You
I'm
gotta
going to
look
be
fresh.
probably standing in front of
A new crowd.
200 plus people with an old suit that they have probably seen 3 or 4 times already.
Yeah.
It
makes
us
us
up. It's
also-
not good for my brand as well.
But Twakasi are very good at using you to the full capacity in this sense. That's
That's what
there's
that's what I'm
nothing
talking
left
about.
over. Yes.
That's what I'm talking about.
Exactly.
That you
Okay,
can't, you
I
can't,
was also asked the question by an event organizer. A re ke mo sendele photo ya ka. O hai mona photo ena o dula o e sebedisa. Ke gale re patalo etsa di photo shoot.
Hey,
We are not getting money to go
it's
for
like
a
it's like a
professional photo
K.
shoot.
It's like a
I have to-
8.5.
o etsa tse ngata wa sa save up. No, dog. Like tseno di fella transporting.
Yes.
Di fella airtime.
Doesn't matter.
Like,
Other
I
things.
upload the mix.
Also,
whatever.
Ukalosa.
yeah,
close.
because if say my rent is 1.5,
Yeah.
right, and say let's say all I do is MC.
Yeah.
If I'm going to have that 1 gig,
Yeah.
and you pay me 2,000.
Oh, Kirueta.
Already rent ya ka le yona ke 1.5. Even if I'm not buying that new suit
Yeah,
that
yeah,
you're saying I should
yeah,
buy.
yeah.
1.5 yena since ke nahana rent.
Yeah. 500 they give you.
And then anything else, Kori, like, and that's the mindset now we have to have as content creators.
Yeah.
You guys as podcasters,
Yeah.
all these people in this creative space, we need to
Yeah.
say, "Ke mosebetsi wa rona, this is our bread and
Yeah,
butter."
yeah, yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yes.
a radio, a podcast, hona tjenana, if a corporate comes and says, we want to sponsor you guys, what's your quotation? And
Yes.
you guys say 8,000. The argument is going to be, how?
And they never say that.
They're going to say, how? 3,000. 3,000 is just
It's
production cost.
Yes.
It's just
Meaning,
shooting.
it goes
Yes.
back to what you're saying.
Yes.
There's no profit.
Yes.
There's no
Yeah.
salary alone.
Yes.
Nothing. Nothing.
Not even-
It's
just-
just for shooting.
They're just saying, go sebedis, o fihle, go facilitate o fihla mosebetsing, o sebetse, o tsamaye, and that's it. So basically, ke sebeditse mahala.
Yeah.
Because all you did is cover the cost of me being here.
Exactly.
But beyond that, you didn't really cover the cost of my work.
Well, on that bombshell, yeah, people, guys, do better. Do better. Let's help the industry grow.
Yeah.
Let's help MCing is still an industry. Radio is still an industry, whatever. Yeah, man, I lead the microphone. Industry doing podcasts.
Respect the creative.
Yeah, respect us, Buffy.
Pay for the music.
Scar.
Pay for the photography.
Yeah, skela ka
Pay.
ho rona le tlo re tlo letsa dintho mahala. Ka
Yes, sir.
nnete nna tindit but I block.
I
block.
value you, bro.
Yeah.
How now I'm gonna tell you.
Nah, man. I'll find other ways.
Yeah.
Not to do things. Yeah. Anyway, thanks guys for watching. Remember to subscribe. Shout out to Chris Theko for being here.
Big shout out, my G.
I hope we'll see him again and again and again.
As they said, friend of the show.
Friend of the
so
show,
probably
yeah,
you'll see me
man.
once again.
Yes,
next
sir.
times.
A different topic, a different thing,
Yeah.
a different setup.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a fact checker since he got like researching skills.
Connects.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so did Sunny really do this?
Yeah.
You know, but hey, yeah, thanks guys for watching.
I wish we could have talked about this other situation, but hey, we'll touch on that.
Yeah, we talked about it on the previous
Yeah.
episode.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
But hey, maybe development stories. I did story I did develop. Yeah, we'll call you.
Because all I'll
We'll call
say,
you.
and this is a closing note, I have inside scoop.
Yeah.
I know the real reason why these two are at it.
Ah,
They will not say it.
Anyway.
but I know.
Hey, okay,
Extending the
retire.
episode. Yeah, give us the
Retire.
juice.
No, we're still good.
Exclusive.
We're already.
Don't worry.
You're continuing. You have the scoop.
What are you saying? What happened?
No, hell no. We want them to come back to the next time.
It's fine. See you on the next episode.
Yeah. Thanks for watching. Remember to subscribe, guys. Like the episode, share, follow our socials.
For sure.
Buy sauces. Yeah. Pull up, say jump.
Jump.
And we out, baby.
Shut up.
Shut up. Yeah.